Hi everyone, it's Nancy, aka Kitty Nance or Kitty Scrapper. Back with you with another layout. Just on the screen at the moment, I'm just going through some stash, trying to use up lots of scraps and bits I've got around. Sorry about that, just moving the camera there. These papers are all from a recent, I think it may be December Scraptastic kit. I've settled for this Maggie Holmes for Create Paper flea market for background. It's already got some kind of misting effect on there, but I'm just adding over some more white mist. So this is a Dilutions white mist, and I'm just looking for another mist. This one is my only colour shine that I own, and it's the Chartreuse colour, which actually dries a really nice kind of antique gold colour. So I'm just adding that and some bigger dots over there as well. I tend to do misting at the start, even if it's all going to get covered up in the end. It just helps me from feeling apprehensive from looking at a big piece of paper. It's something I learnt while doing my art degree, that a white piece of paper is really intimidating. Put a big streak of paint down it, then that it's not clean, it's not pristine anymore. So here I am just cutting up a photo. I've actually gone for a small square photo, so that's 4x4, and this is just a photo of my room at my parents'. I actually live at my parents' for some of the year, and I spend the rest of the year in a caravan down by the sea. So this is just to go in my Project Life album for 2012. Trying to catch up with that one. So that's what will go in there. I'm going to do some journaling about it, so I've done a fuller layout. Here I am just taking some little bits of paper. I believe that background one is a Teresa Collins. That's a bit of Echo Park of the Ombre Essentials. As you can see, I'm just using a lot of the scraps that I've got on my desk. And of course, going through my doily stash, trying to decide what doilies go. I'd settled on white. I've got two different styles. One is slightly more cream than the other though, so I do end up settling with the whiter of the two, especially because the Echo Park paper is white based, not cream based. Looking through some more of bits of paper here. That is a Teresa Collins paper. It's a bit of a chevron. It's the one that's white and got the arrows on the back, but I'm just cutting out a piece to mat up. This is a little offcut I had of a piece of paper from the Close Knit collection. I do tend to keep these little scraps on my desk. Again, just trying out different bits. That's a cut off from the layout I did previously. This is a piece of vellum with gold stars on. I've had it in my stash for a couple of years, so I thought it was best to get it used up. So I'm just layering that behind a couple of the other layers of paper. I like to cut my doily up and split those. Just trying to work out where that's best placed. Again, these are bits that I had laying around from a previous layout. These are cut apart sheets from the flea market collection from Maggie Holmes. So the reds are the same as the background, so they do go in very well. Just fiddling around lots. I was looking at that flower tab that you can see, but decided that the floral didn't really go with this layout, but I'm going to do a more floral layout soon because I really like that paper. So that was just a tag that I cut out, just using my tiny attacher to staple those layers together. I find that easier if there's lots of layers and it's going to be covered with a photo anyway. It does allow to still tuck layers behind. I often forget how I've layered bits and pieces up once I've moved them to glue them. So yep, this is just working on my second cluster. Again, this is an offcut from a previous layout, using my Cosmic Shimmer glue and using both sides of that paper in the end. So the ombre is from the other side of the triangular paper at the bottom, and that's an offcut of the top photo mat. That's just my ATG, just using that. I do like the fact that the ATG, you know, can be peeled back up, and on most papers it's, you know, it doesn't cause too much hassle, so that's quite good. And I find it more cost effective as well, because I do find I go through a lot of the smaller tape runners. Okay, so just adding that close knit paper, and stuck that down a bit too early, so I'm just adding a bit more, trying to layer those up. Okay, these are some of the Maggie Holmes frames. I've had them in my collection for a while. I really must try and use them up. I end up going for this pink one with the doily print, and end up cutting it apart to add it to the layers. I was trying to get this one to work at the bottom, but I just couldn't get it to look right with the colours down there. So I kind of leave it and go for the top one, because I know how I want that one to look. I end up sticking it actually on the side. I actually like the texture because it's fabric, so it adds another texture to that side of the layout as well. I should have cut some of the bit off that's under the doily actually, because I could use that on the second cluster. Here I am going through my embellishment bag, looking at all the different bits that might go over this layout. There's, as I said, I will clear this out. I did have a bit of a sort out earlier. I mean, as you'll see to the top right hand of the picture, I have got a tub there which I keep a lot of bits in as well. Every so often I sort through those and try and make a layout from what I've got left in there really. But yeah, just sorting through, getting everything out, and then I'll decide what's going to work on the layout as I go along. So here I am. This is just a little bag which I keep bits in. I decided that that really didn't go because I hadn't got anything else which used the craft. This home piece wood veneer from Scraptastic caused me a lot of trouble and doesn't actually end up on the final layout. You'll see I fuss about with it over and over. I just can't get it to work. I just can't get it to sit on the layout properly. These are some of the ormolu cut parts. I cut this pendant out. I have real problems trying to use those. I think with the way I cluster, it's just too pointy. I have not got them to work. I've got quite a few cut out which have not made it onto layouts. But it will hang around on my desk. I am just looking at the Teresa Collins cut apart sheets, just seeing if any of those can fit on the layouts. I've also added the wood veneer houses with a heart in them. They're also from the Scraptastic kit. These are some of the pendant flags. Again, adding them, trying to get them to work. They don't make it onto this layout though, but you will see them in an upcoming layout. Trying to use up these quite old stickers in my stash. Not really worrying about what the words say, more using them as a background texture. So I'm just layering them on both sides, both clusters there. That is actually a small cutaway from actually the frames, but it hasn't got as much pink on as I could have used. So that's just going over there to give somewhere for the house to sit on. Still contemplating whether to use any more tags. I do a lot of fussing about layering. Here I am adding another piece of the paper I used to map the photo, just because I was trying to get that home wood veneer to work, but needed something to base it on. As I say, in the end it doesn't even end up on the layout. There I am adding a date label, and that's from My Mind's Eye. There's another sticker that ends up adding on that. I quite like those sticker sheets. I found them quite handy for filling in small gaps. As I say, I'm still fussing around trying to get that home piece of wood veneer to work. It's just not working. I think it's because it's a ticket shape. I think if it was just had straight edges, it wouldn't have troubled me so much. I just really can't get it to look right. So here I am just looking at more stickers. That's a Fancy Pants sticker sheet. These are some thin etched wood veneer. It's more of a thin wood veneer though, and that's from Scraptastic as well. They're arrows. So again, I'm just going to look at adding them to each cluster. But again, these will get moved around quite a lot on the layout. Just trying to work out where to put them. Yep, so still moving the home. But here I am having a genius idea. I might try and cut the sort of fancy edge off, but don't. So I'm now going back in my stash and seeing if I can find another one of those houses. Because that's actually a lot smaller, the gap that I've got there now looks silly. So I'm going to add my title in that space. And I'm kind of just left it at the moment because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. Again, I'm looking at these sequins, looking at the pink ones, but they're actually the wrong kind of pink. Again, more wood veneers, just seeing if any of those will work. These are some Webster's Page Alison Craft frames, like the resin frames. I actually brought these in the sale not long ago, and actually had the intention to use them for jewellery. That hasn't happened, they've just been sitting on my desk. So here you'll see me playing with a couple of different colours. And I decided I'm actually going to mount one of the wood veneers inside one of those. These are some little hearts that came, I think they were from Studio Calico Kit. I didn't end up putting them on. So I'm now starting to stick the wood veneers down and start looking at completing the clusters. I'm trying to decide whether to put it on top or under the vellum layer there. End up covering up completely a sticker that I put on there. But I often do, often with my layers, all the background and things end up disappearing anyway. Okay, so not quite sure what I'm doing now, having a think. I think I'm actually looking for, I've just got my pin flare glue to stick the bits down, so okay, I'm just looking for my letter stickers. So these are some of the new Daily Flash stickers. I brought these just after Christmas, just before I started on my challenge to do 30 layouts before I'm allowed to buy any more stash. I will still be getting my Scraptastic kit, but I'm not going to buy any other supplies. And to be honest, I'm going to try not to buy any more paper until I've done about 50 layouts, but I might buy some embellishments. The title for this layout is Going Home. As I said, the photo is of my bedroom at my parents', where I spend about anywhere between 2 and 3 months of the year. I'm just backing the resin frame on a bit of paper, just so you've not got the confusion of what you see behind it, and also somewhere where I can add the silicone glue to. See, that fits actually quite nicely there in the end. So I'm adding some twine on here, so just adding a couple of random bits of balled up twine into each of the clusters. Again, as I said in my other video, I like these little twine that are on reels. It's quite a thin baker's twine as well, so it doesn't add too much bulk to the layout. And I'm just adding a tiny little bit up to this cluster up here. As you'll see, I end up pulling up the wood veneers as well. Okay, so here I am putting some silicone glue. I'm adding it to the back of the wood veneer, as well as onto that piece of paper backing of the resin frame. That adds some dimension. It's something I only started using quite recently because I borrowed some from a friend at a crop. And actually, when I've added quite a lot of layers, it's actually what I need quite often to stick things down, so I'm just making sure that's stuck well. Here I am just adding a date stamp to that bottom date label. I will have photos at the end so you can see some of this more close up. I'm actually still working on the camera angle for showing you my layouts. This is actually a very small desk that I use to craft at my parents'. When I'm back in my caravan, I've got much more room, so that will be so much easier to film. But I'm actually not going to be back there now till the earliest. It's going to be March now, so I'm still playing around in what space I've got here. I may look at getting an extension arm for my camera as well to make things easier. So here I am just adding some brads that have been in my stash for quite a while. Again, just filling a few gaps as well on the layouts, sort of getting that trap space out of the way. I've added one to each cluster, and I will end up putting washi tape over the back of those and sticking the resin frame down. So I will journal on this layout, but I leave them all in a pile until I've got about 20-30 layouts, and then I do all of the journaling and put them down. I'm just showing you some Ali Edwards stamps that I'm using. I'm just using some, I think it's Distress, I think it's Brush Corduroy, just to stamp some words around the clusters. Again, I should have really thought about doing this before I add the dimensional elements. Okay, looking through some more stamps and bits. Didn't end up using them. Then looking through more stamps. I've got some that are in my crop bag. Been using these quite a lot recently. There's some studio stamps from Ranger. These are actually a bargain I got in the sale department, so I'm just covering it up there as I'm stamping over, and that's just a small sort of polka dot stamp. Actually stamping it on the back of my hand to take some of the ink off as well, because I don't want a heavy impression. So yeah, now coming up to the final, finishing up the layout. I will, as I say, add some pictures at the end. Just adding my final layers of ink. Again, I find that's normally the finishing touches for my layouts. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. I just want to say a big thank you to all my new subscribers. I'm really happy. It makes me really happy that I've got these new people to share my hobby with using YouTube. So yeah, here are just the final layouts. And please go over to my blog, which is www.kittyscrapper-nancy.blogspot.com, and I'll have that up at the end. Thank you very much. Cheers!